Hello everyone, it's Bree. Welcome back to my channel. Today is a video I have looked forward to filming for quite some time, and honestly it's one I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to film at some point. So today I'm going to be sharing my journey of how I got to 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and honestly I can't believe it. This year has been blowing my mind with how much my YouTube channel has grown, and honestly a lot of people think it's a lot of overnight success when in reality I started my YouTube channel in 2016. So today I just wanted to kind of sit down with you and share my journey, kind of very informal, just kind of talk with you guys and give you a one-on-one of what life was like over the last 7 years of trying to pursue YouTube. So like I mentioned, I started my YouTube channel in 2016. I started it March 21st of 2016, but really to understand why I even wanted to start a YouTube channel, we have to backtrack even further. So I actually started to film and learn how to edit in high school. I was actually my broadcast producer at one time when I was a senior in high school, and it's something I really enjoyed doing. And once I got out of high school, I didn't go to college of any sort. I knew I wasn't wanting to pursue anything in broadcasting per se. I didn't really like the news world and anything like that. So I went to cosmetology school, and I never really stopped filming or editing. I got into competitive bodybuilding at the time, and I was actually competing at the Arnold in Ohio when I really stumbled across the vlogging world. So in 2015 to 2016 is when vlogging really took off, and when I was competing at this bodybuilding competition, there was a lot of people filming and documenting their lives, and I found their channels on YouTube once I got home, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to do this. This is something that could intertwine two of my worlds together. I really wasn't I wasn't watching content like that on YouTube at the time. So as of March 21st of 2016, I decided I was going to upload my very first YouTube video. This is where everything starts, and honestly, some of these beginning videos are so cringy, especially this first one. I was just stumbling on my words. There's a lot of videos, you guys, they're not public to my channel anymore, so you will see I go through a lot of dips when it comes to this whole YouTube journey, and I have a lot of these videos still. They are privated, but they are not live on my channel because I completely changed my life, and you'll see how this goes throughout the whole story, but as we go on. So 2016 for me was one of those years where everything just wasn't going right for me. So I started off my YouTube channel, and I have two videos where I have solid black hair. It was my first video I ever uploaded, which was like a full day of eating vlog. Those were really popular at the time. Hey everyone, so I'm about to go grocery shopping this afternoon to get some things for Sunday. So from there, we got some sriracha seasoning. All right, we're back. So it is time for meal 4, and I'm gonna be making some zucchini noodles with turkey and ragu. So pretty much like a spaghetti bowl. And then my second video was actually a vlog I did of me and my husband's first trip to New York City. But once I got back from New York, so I was dealing with some allergic reactions at this time to hair color, and like I mentioned, I was a hairdresser. And within a few weeks of all my traveling from Ohio and New York, I started to notice a lot of coincidences with hair color and all that. So lo and behold, I had to quit my cosmetology career pretty much out of the blue. I was severely allergic to hair color, so I had black hair, right? I think my third video I ever uploaded to YouTube, my hair is bright orange because I was like, well, I already started YouTube. I'm not going to stop YouTube because my whole goal was to try to do social media and YouTube and share my life. And at the time I was going through something pretty traumatic. So yes, We got bright yellow and orange hair. So I felt like I was going through a complete identity crisis, but I kept going with it. And this is the period of 2016 through 2017. I was still doing bodybuilding competitions at the time. But once I was starting to be done in the bodybuilding world, it was what, October of like 2017, I quit YouTube entirely. At this time, I was putting in about 40 hours a week. I wasn't getting anything out of it. I had like maybe 200 subscribers after that year and a half. And I was really going through a lot, being what, probably, I think I was like 26 at the time. If I'm wrong, I'll put it across the screen. But I was really trying to figure out what was next in my life since my career ended. And then I also quit like the hobby I dedicated to my early 20s while trying to still pursue social media. So I quit social media because honestly, I was having an identity crisis and I really wanted to figure out who I was behind closed doors at the time. So I took some time to kind of like really step back and reevaluate my life. And during this chunk of time that I took off, which was from 2017 to 2019, about a whole 2-year period, was when I got into gardening. I got into a lot of holistic ways. I loved cooking and natural foods and all of this jazz. So I ended up picking back YouTube towards September of 2019. I really missed filming and vlogging and sharing my life. So one thing I love about the early days of filming during my bodybuilding is, even though a lot of those videos are so cringy, I have the very first moments we ever met Khaleesi. I saw a picture of her online that morning and we went to the Humane Society, and I have the first moments we saw her through the glass, touching her through the door, playing with her for the first time. And honestly, those little moments that I have captured through the years mean so much to me. And during that few-year period, I was still filming and editing, but I was keeping a lot to myself, just trying to figure out who I was. But I really missed sharing my life. And once I started to really understand who I was, I really wanted to hop back onto YouTube. So here we are, September of 2019, and I pick back up vlogging. This video is actually still live on my channel. I was talking about an apple cider hair vinegar rinse because since I went through that whole period of my hair being just destroyed by having to strip out the hair color, I went really natural with my hair journey. Yeah, let's go ahead and make it super easy. Go ahead and undo your jar.
Wait for it, it gets really complicated.
I literally just use the entire package. So go ahead and throw that in there. And then as far as lavender goes, I typically will use about half a cup of dried lavender. Go ahead and put that in there. Try not to make a mess like I'm doing. And then here comes the hardest part. Pour apple cider vinegar into the mason jar until we get it to about right there. Either way, that video is still live. It's my apple cider vinegar rinse. That's like the first video you will see on this channel that is still live to this day. I think I have over 200 videos, maybe like 150 that are completely private from the few years where I was trying to pursue things initially. But either way, I picked back up the camera, and during this time I was managing a liquor store, and then shortly after I went into wine sales. So I really enjoyed wine after working at a liquor store for a few years, because after I got done with my hair career, I really had no path. I wasn't making money. I was still trying to do bodybuilding for that short little time, and my friend owned a liquor store and he allowed me to work there, and I worked there for quite some time, and that led me to my wine sale career. So I was doing wine sales when I first picked back up YouTube, and I was pretty consistent with YouTube all throughout the rest of 2019. I got married in 2019 and I was really wanting to film a few things with that. We got a drone. So there was a few videos throughout there. And then once the new year came, my wine sales career was doing quite well. And I backtracked a little bit with YouTube. I was still uploading quite often, but I did cut back a little bit. And there was a little period where I was like, I don't know if I want to actually pursue this still. Even though I loved filming and documenting and editing and all of that, when you're not getting paid for that and you're really trying to figure out how the hell you're going to make money in your mid-20s, it starts to get a little stressful. So I started to backtrack a little bit since my wine sale career was doing so well, but here we are. It's 2020. We all know what happened in 2020. So even though I was in wine sales, the wine I sold was very nichey. It was like, we know a lot of people drank in 2020. A lot of people upticked their drinking while staying at home, but it was a lot of cheap wine. From being in the liquor industry, I can honestly say it was a lot of liquor, beer, cheap wine. French import wine, which is what I sold, really wasn't being sold. My career in the wine world really based off of me going and meeting with clients, meeting with restaurants, trying to get on wine lists, doing wine dinners. Like, it was this whole little world that I'm really happy that I was involved in. But that during that time, obviously restaurants weren't even having people in their restaurant. So I was technically, I think, like laid off for like 2 or 3 months of 2020. And that is when I ended up like doubling my garden. I was already gardening for a few years at that point. And then obviously like April, May 2020 hits and I have no job. And I'm like, okay, well, do I hit the ground running? Do I take a bet on myself? Do I really try to pursue this? Like, everything was really directing me to like the right place at the right time. So I'm sitting here editing this video and I forgot to mention a little bit of this story. So what ended up happening was I ended up getting laid off for that few months. And then toward the end, I think it was like mid to end of summer, they called me back and that was pretty much to do like everything holiday, and the market was just not the same. So at the end of the year, I was actually let go and I started 2021 completely without a job. And that's where I'm like mentioning like betting on myself and all of that. And I kind of just got a little too ahead of the story. So I ended up losing my wine sale job. And that was the time where I was like, what do we do? It's so funny to look back on like 2020 gardening videos. I really wish I had gardening videos from 2018 and 2019, my first 2 years, because 2020, I laughed so hard. Because if you guys go back to my first garden tour video, this garden is so small. I did just get done harvesting some lettuce for tonight's dinner. I am trying to use some of my more matured lettuce so I can go ahead and clear out the garden bed it's in to plant some more beans this weekend. I have all stages of life in my garden right now. I just planted some seeds. I have some little baby plants. I have some medium, halfway mature plants, and then I have some mature plants. So it's been a really exciting time in the garden lately. If you guys want a good laugh, honestly, some of my 2020 content is hilarious. At one point, I really thought I was growing lavender, but I was actually growing hyssop. It was lavender hyssop. But when I got into gardening, I planted a ton of it my first few years and I never had the seed packet. And I ended up finding the seed packet and realized I was never growing lavender. I always thought it was odd that it smelled like licorice. So yeah, early on during the learning curve of gardening and sharing that, there's some funny mistakes I've made, but I've always been really I've always kind of just told you guys, like, you're along with the journey with me. But it's been really cool to see just everything from 2020 to now. So for example, man, so even at the beginning of 2023, I have one screenshot from the very beginning of this year. I still only had about 7,000 subscribers. I think it was like 7,500 maybe total. And I'm sure at the point of this video, I think I already have like 135,000 and I just hit 100,000 4 weeks ago. There's a lot of stories out there of people who have a lot of instant success starting a YouTube channel and they are monetized and have a ton of subscribers within the first like 6 months to a year. That was not my story. YouTube was definitely a struggle for me. I put myself out there so much and there was a lot of really discouraging times. I am very, very lucky that I was able to really pursue this. My husband has really took the reins of everything. He's pretty much made sure we stayed afloat. We sold a vehicle and only used my paid off car from high school to be able to get us through this chunk of me really not working. I have barely made any money when it comes to social media until about the last 6 months. There's been a lot of opportunity that has come my way this year that I honestly wished for and dreamt for so long. And at the beginning of this year, I was starting to really consider the fact that YouTube and my social media career might not be something that ever equates to anything. YouTube for me has always been a pursuit to have a little bit more freedom in my life and to maybe grasp a level that I may not have been able to grasp doing everyday things. It hasn't been easy putting myself out there. I have definitely received a lot of negative feedback throughout the years, and that has definitely made me a stronger person because I moved a lot. I moved almost every single year, and I definitely am more of a people pleaser person, and I always wanted people to like me. I've always wanted to connect with people. That is honestly why I started a YouTube channel. And still to this day, I might only have a handful of friends that really understand the life I am trying to live and pursue. And that is why I started, I really started to really get into YouTube with gardening in 2020 because I wanted to find like-minded people. I did not grow up doing canning, gardening, old school skills, homemaking. That was never a thought process of mine until I reached about 26. So it's really interesting to see the journey of how, even though I started filming and editing back 15 years ago, now half my life, how I've still incorporated it. I love filming and editing. I love sharing and documenting, and this has been a way I've been able to express myself. Whenever my hair career was ending / I wasn't really wanting it anymore, even though I wasn't wanting my hair career, I made really good money. But the universe was like, oh, you don't want your hair career? All right, we're gonna make you highly allergic and you're gonna have to quit. I was never mentally prepared for everything I was about to take on. And I only wished and dreamt of everything I have received this year. If I would have had everything I wished for back in 2017, this journey would have not even come close to how insane of a story I have felt over these last few years. Social media has made me even take avenues I never even expected. Like, I've had to deal with attorneys, I've had to deal with CPAs, I've had to deal with a lot of business stuff I never even considered before. I just thought I would fill my life and call it a day. But there's so much more that really goes into YouTube. So you have to be really disciplined, especially in my sense where I'm up early, I stay late, I put in 12, 13 hour long days a lot of the time. And when you're working for yourself and you work from home and you live from home and you don't have an actual scheduled time you have to do stuff, you have to be really disciplined. And that was stuff I really had to learn over those years. This year, when I really felt the pull of this really might not happen unless I really, really try at this. And this year I definitely put in twice the amount of effort. I don't know if you guys have been able to tell, but over the last few weeks, I have kind of pulled back a little bit. I really hit the ground running this year, and I really just wanted to make this possible for me. So I really exhausted myself, to say the least. I was really tired. Like, once all of my preserving was done and the gardening really started to slow down, man, I have really felt the pull of wanting to slow down this season, which I have not felt in previous seasons. But this year I really maxed out everything. I have wanted a YouTube subscriber plaque since I started YouTube. This is one of those things that is so crazy exciting to finally have in hand. I've had this on my vision board since 2020. In 2020, I really wanted to hone in and focus in on certain aspects of my life. And I was like, I want 100,000 subscribers. I want to share my life with the world and film and document it. So thank you. You guys are the reason why this was possible. And just know that's not overlooked whatsoever. This means the world to me, And I thank you every day for coming back and watching me document my life and what is going on in it. I just really want to say thank you guys so much for believing in me, watching what I do, taking what I do and making it into your own. I love when you guys tag me and show me the things that you have took and implemented in your own lives. That is so inspiring. I've actually been getting recognized in town a lot. It's happened quite a few times over the last few months, and it may come off as I'm a pretty extroverted person, but honestly, I am pretty introverted. I've learned how to talk really well amongst people throughout my hairdressing career. So I'm able to tap into that extrovert when I want to be, but I'm a very introverted person. So I always love, though, when you guys come up and say hi to me, because it actually gives me a sense of community. Because honestly, when you're working from home by yourself and you're by yourself most of the time, those numbers don't have faces, but those numbers have been turning into faces, and it's been so cool. Honestly, this has been a journey of a lifetime. It has taken me so long to get to this point. But man, they really do say everything is in the journey. Once I finally hit that 100,000, I almost had like a slight imposter syndrome because I've dreamt of this moment for so long. So that was kind of crazy, to be honest with you. Sometimes it still doesn't seem like I actually accomplished it, because my day to day is very much the same all the time. But again, this is my little story of how things came to be. Again, I thank you guys so much for being here, and here's to another year on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.